someone is online. Yes. How are you? Namaste. How are you? Anjali madam. Good morning. Mm, Pranam Prabhu. Pranam Prabhu. Namaste Sharmili. How are you? Great. So I think we can begin. We have audience. Okay. So today we are going to talk about this Uttar Bhadra Nakshatra. In the last video on Nakshatra series, we talked about Purvabhadra Nakshatra. Okay. So from the name itself, we can understand that these two nakshatras are uh, very connected with each other. From the name itself, like Purvabhadra and the Uttar Bhadra. Just like we have Purva Falguni, Uttara Falguni, Purva Ashada, Uttara Ashada. This is another combination of two nakshatras we have. Purvabhadra and Uttar Bhadra. Now, as I always say that every nakshatra is indicating something preceding to its nakshatra, okay, preceding to itself, and every nakshatra is indicating something which is coming in the next nakshatra. So all these nakshatras are in the sequel order. So this nakshatra is coming after Purvabhadra, so it has something related with Purvabhadra, and it is coming before Revati, so it will have something related with Revati also. It will set up the stage for Revati. So as we discussed about Purvabhadra last time, it was the nakshatra of initial spiritual experiences. Okay, so we will take from there. Okay, so if we just go through the basics of this nakshatra, the Uttar Bhadra nakshatra. This nakshatra begins with at 3 degree 20 minutes of Pisces till 16 degree 40 minutes of Pisces. So whole of the Uttar Bhadra nakshatra is one sign and in the middle of the sign Pisces. So as I always say, any nakshatra which is falling into the middle of a particular sign will have the characteristics of that particular sign. Okay. Again, will have the maximum characteristics of that sign. So Uttar Bhadra will have the maximum characteristics of Pisces. Okay, because it is in the middle of that section. Okay, where the energy of Pisces can be maximum. Then this the name itself, if we go into the name, again we have to link it with the earlier nakshatra. Purvabhadra meant initial auspicious feet. Okay, initial auspicious feet was the name of the Purvabhadra nakshatra. So Uttar Bhadra is later auspicious feet. Uttar means later, Bhadra means auspicious, and Pada means feet. So it is about later auspicious feet. The representation of this nakshatra is back part of your representation of this nakshatra is back part of your funeral cot or funeral pyre. So suppose there is a funeral pyre, it has two sides. Okay, uh, the this Purubhadra represents the earlier part, okay, initial part, where I would guess where the head is placed, where head of the dead body is placed. That should be the initial part, and the later part we can understand where the leg portion of the body comes, of the dead body on the funeral pyre. So the Uttar Bhadra represents that part of the funeral pyre or funeral cot. It is also represented by a coiled snake. Okay, it is almost the same representation which Ashlesha has. Although Ashlesha is an entwined snake, two snakes entwined in each other. That is Ashlesha. When it comes to Uttar Bhadra, it is coiled snake. One snake which is sitting in a coiled position. Okay. So that is an important thing. We will discuss the meaning of all these things. So deity of Uttar Bhadra is Lord Ahir Bhudhanya, okay, which is a serpent god. It is for remembering, we can say that deity of Uttar Bhadra is a serpent god, and which lives underneath the earth. Okay. Another thing is that this nakshatra lord is Saturn, and sign lord is Jupiter. Okay, Uttar Bhadra as a nakshatra is ruled by Saturn, but its deity is serpent god. Then its sign lord is Jupiter. Now if we come to mythology, okay, understand, as I said, that all these nakshatras from Dhanishta itself, these are Panchak nakshatra. These are called Panchak nakshatra, last 5 nakshatras from Dhanishta, Shadrishak, Purubhadra, Uttar Bhadra and Revati. So it is these 5 nakshatras shows your spiritual evolution. Okay. The spirituality involved in a person, or how spiritually evolved one person can be. So when we are talking about spiritual evolution through this nakshatra, actually mythological stories are not applicable here. Okay, directly they are not applicable here. What I mean to say is that because mythology is text. Okay, mythology is someone has written something. Spirituality is beyond mythology. Spirituality is beyond religion. Okay, so when we talk about spirituality, it is about going beyond the religion. Then you reach up to the stage of spirituality. Like I told about my experiences last time while discussing the Purubhadra nakshatra, that when I got exhausted with the religious pursuits, then I went into the zone of spirituality. Likewise with this nakshatra also. So mythology story is not directly connected with, there is no mythological story directly connected, as per my knowledge, with this nakshatra. If anyone knows it, please post it. I will be more than happy to read that story. Okay. But still, if we want to connect it with this mythology, then any story where destruction and recreation is part of the story, like any story of mythological wars like Ramayana, Mahabharata and all, those stories can be linked with this nakshatra. Lord Shiva's third eye, Lord Shiva's Tandav, okay, because it is also about destruction and recreation. Wars like Mahabharata and Ramayana, these stories can also be linked with this nakshatra. Another thing which just came into my mind is that there is one story, as I was telling, that deity of this nakshatra is Lord Ahir Budhanya, which is serpent god. Okay, and the serpent god stays underneath the earth. There was one story in Mahabharat when Duryodhan and his brothers tried to kill Bhim, and by giving him poison, something like that, and they threw Bhim into the ocean. Bhim reached up to the the surface of the ocean, like inner surface of the ocean, and he was welcomed by the serpent gods and serpent kingdom. Okay, so and he was also given some gifts, and he drank some nectar of immortality kind of thing. Some nectar he drank, which brought the elephant like power to Bhim. So that story can be related with this nakshatra. Okay, because if you see the whole process of death and rebirth was there, that this Duryodhan and his brothers tried to kill Bhim and threw his body into the ocean. He reached up to the bottom of the ocean, and then he got this nectar, which gave him the double strength, and he came back again. Okay, so this story we can relate somewhere with this nakshatra. Otherwise, all these last five nakshatras are more spiritual in nature. They have not much to do with the materialistic life. Okay, understand that we have reached up to this level after going through all the materialistic nakshatras. Okay, we have come to this point of last few nakshatras only when we have crossed through all the 22 nakshatras first. Then we have reached to the last 5 nakshatras. So we have already covered the materialistic portion of the life. So I am not saying that materialistic portion is not necessary, is not important. I am just saying that now we are in the spiritual portion. Okay. So this is this story we can relate with this nakshatra. Then if we go into the interpretation, first of all, now understand, as I said earlier, this nakshatra has Uttarbhadra is about your later spiritual experiences. Okay, just we discussed about just like we discussed about Purvabhadra. What happened in Purvabhadra? That person initially gets interested in some spiritual activities. Okay, person initially gets interested in doing some meditation or going to some spiritual ashram and performing some other spiritual pursuits. So he gets interested in all these things. That is Purvabhadra. Then he, while doing meditation, he can have some spiritual experiences also. Like he can have he can see some yellow light on the forehead, or these type of experiences, which are very initial experiences in spirituality. But now we are into Uttarbhadra nakshatra, which is about more intense experiences in spirituality. One of the representation, symbolic representation of this nakshatra is coiled snake. So this nakshatra can be connected with Kundalini energy, waking up of Kundalini energy, or waking up of chakras activation can be connected with this nakshatra. Okay, it is also nakshatra which can bring other spiritual events, like someone can have out of body experiences, someone can be can have further experiences like liberation or enlightenment and all. So mystical experiences are commonly seen through this nakshatra. Okay, if someone is having this nakshatra prominent, they can be spiritually inclined in their overall life, and they can have all these spiritual experiences, mystical experiences. This nakshatra can give extreme mystical powers. if this person pursues it. Okay, now understand, every nakshatra has some energy. It is indicating towards certain energy in your chart. It depends upon you then whether you are paying attention or your focus on that energy or not. Okay, same energy can be utilized anyways. Okay, same Uttar Bhadra nakshatra, same Pisces can be someone can be interested in yoga also, someone can be interested in movies also with Pisces. So the same sign energy, same nakshatra energy has different representations. It depends upon you where you want to focus, where your interest is. If you are focusing on this mystical side of life, then this nakshatra can provide great mystical powers. Okay, one chart which I always quote is Osho's chart. He had Rahu in Uttar Bhadra nakshatra, Pisces. So he was all about spirituality, mystical things. I haven't seen a more mystical person, a person who is better mystic than Osho. Okay, maybe I am missing out on someone, but in my experience, I haven't seen. So this nakshatra can bring lots of spiritual experiences, mystical events in life, and mystical powers. Okay, this nakshatra is all for your spiritual progress. So if you are putting best effort into the spiritual side of life, then things can be very good for you. Then if we go into the other things related with this nakshatra. Okay, meditation. One of the spiritual pursuit we all can follow is meditation. Okay, easiest way. Do regular meditation, and at some point of time you will have your experiences. Okay. Then as discussed, coiled snake symbolism shows kundalini energy. So if this person continues to follow his spiritual pursuits, they can have they can have this kundalini energy activation or chakra activation, as they say. Both things are same, kundalini and chakra activation. Okay, then anything which is underneath earth. Okay, this is important with this nakshatra. Okay, understand, its lord is a serpent god who is staying underneath the earth. Okay, so not only they can be very deep in their thinking, they can be deep in their philosophy and all, but they can be so deep or so mystical that you may not be able to understand them correctly. Okay, there can be a sort of illusion around them. Okay, you may think, okay, is this person right, or is this person genuine, or this person is fraud. He is presenting himself highly spiritual, but is he really spiritual, or is he a conman or a fraud? Okay, so this doubt will always be there with this nakshatra Uttar Bhadra. Even with Osho, many people say that okay, he was very genuine Sadguru, and many people say that he was a con man, he was a fraud. Okay, so this even with Osho, this confusion remains, and he at times he accepted both the things. Okay, so this confusion will always be there. You will always be not be sure. If your 100% faith is not there in that person, then you can never be sure that this person is genuine or this person is a fraud. Okay, so this is the thing. So another thing is that they can be fraud also. Okay, you can find someone who has Uttar Bhadra prominent, and they are just fake gurus, fake spiritual teachers. We have a lot of them. We have seen a lot of them in our life. Okay, again it is They can work as a counselors or guides in a spiritual field. They can also be working as spiritual gurus or teachers or some sort of counselors. Okay, so this thing is always there. So this nakshatra is all about the higher level of spirituality. It is about the uh, like intense spiritual experiences, intense mystical experiences. Someone is having out of body experience, or someone is having kundalini jagran, that can be seen. Then and then someone can be having ultimate liberation or enlightenment kind of thing. Okay, so this is the thing, but always everything comes in a process. Understand, this is the important thing, that we love to jump into spirituality. Okay, uh, our mind wants to make us feel that we are highly spiritual person, so we love to jump into a spiritual field. But my view is that unless and until your materialistic desires are not accomplished, don't jump into a spiritual field. Understand this basic thing from astrology itself. 12th house is the house of spirituality. 12th sign is the sign of spirituality. Even the nakshatras which we are discussing are actually the last nakshatras from Dhanishta to Revati. So this is the main thing, that spirituality should be the last goal of your life. Okay, when you have already accomplished your materialistic goals, when you have already accomplished your ambitions in your life, then you should go towards spirituality. Then you will automatically go towards spirituality. Once those things are exhausted, you have exhausted your energy in your materialistic pursuits, then you will automatically move towards spirituality. There is no need to make a particular effort for that. But if you directly try to jump into a spiritual field, then you are spending your time in spiritual pursuits, but your mind is still working in materialistic pursuits. Okay, this is where the trouble comes. If you are directly jumping into spirituality without exhausting your materialistic desires. Okay, so this thing should be kept in mind. Okay. Okay, let's see if we have some questions. We have some questions. Okay. Okay. So I have 3 planets in Uttar Bhadrapada in ascendant moon, which Mercury gives me inclination in spirituality. How this nakshatra has benefited in materialistic life? Again, understand spirituality. Spirituality is about dedicating yourself towards service of serving others, serving humanity. Okay, if you are dedicating yourself towards serving others, then universe will take care of you. Don't worry about it. Okay, universe will always take care of the person who is serving others. Okay, if I just give my example. Okay, so you may find it funny, but I had a client, and after a whole consultation, that person asked me, that person got curious because of my sort of different views on relationship, and the fact that I don't give marriage and horoscope matching Okay, so that person got little curious, that okay, fine. That person asked that you don't give marriage consultation, you don't give horoscope matching consultation, you don't give this remedies and gemstones, your health consultations are free, then how you survive? This was the question. How do you survive when you are not giving all these consultations? How you earn your money? So I said that even I have no idea how I survive. Universe sends me. Okay, universe sends me people whenever I need. My for my need I get enough clients and enough money. Okay, so don't worry about it. If you are really spiritually inclined towards serving others, universe will take care of you. Your needs will be fulfilled. Okay. So materialistic life benefits in materialistic life will automatically come if you are truly into the service of the other people. But as I said, first we should exhaust the materialistic desires. If someone has materialistic desires that okay, I want to achieve this or achieve that, then first exhaust that. This nakshatra is still in the Pisces sign, which represents imagination, creativity. Moon, Venus, Mercury, they all are creative planets. So it very much shows that you can attain your materialistic desires through any creative pursuits as per your chart. Okay, so attain those things. Then we will look for spiritual things. Okay. Has three planets in Sun, Moon, Rahu. Again, as I said, this nakshatra can Sun, Moon, Rahu. One good thing about Sun, Moon conjunction is that Sun represents your soul and Moon represents your mind. If Sun and Moon are together, it is like your mind and soul are together. Okay, they are both working in the same direction. And Rahu is also there, which is providing obsession also, which is providing the push. So when Sun, Moon, Rahu are there in Uttar Bhadra, and this again can be very spiritual combination, and can be utilized in spiritual pursuits. Okay, if this person also meditates regularly and follows spiritual pursuits, then he can be a very good mystic and good spiritual person. When Jupiter placed 4th house in this nakshatra, and how Jupiter dasha will be. Saturn placed in Jyeshtha and Moon Hasta Lagna Mula. Okay. Now understand, as I always say, that any dasha, okay, any dasha can give you the best results if you are doing something related with that planet or that planetary position. So if you have if this person has Jupiter in the 4th house, okay, understand it like this. If Jupiter is in the 4th house in Pisces in Uttar Bhadra nakshatra, Jupiter is all about knowledge sharing. It is in own sign, it rules the ascendant and 4th house both. So this person can attain the best results only when he is in work related with knowledge sharing, any kind of knowledge. Okay, either your academic knowledge or creative knowledge, any knowledge. If this person is sharing his knowledge with others, this person is trying to guide and counsel people, then the best results will come during this dasha. Otherwise you cannot expect the best of result. That means you will get average results of Jupiter dasha. Best results, if you want to gain the best wealth or best benefits during Jupiter dasha, the only way is to share your knowledge with others. Okay, so any work of sharing your knowledge can give you the best of the results. Mukesh, my Lagna Pisces in Uttar Bhadra too. For Pisces people, now understand what happens with Pisces people is, again, Jupiter rules their 1st house, Jupiter also rules the 10th house. So both the career related houses are ruled by Jupiter. These people also gain best in their career if they are sharing their knowledge with Jupiter. That is always the case. Even if someone is working in corporate world, let's take that example. If someone is working in corporate world and he has Jupiter is strong in chart, like in this chart, like Pisces ascendant, or if someone is going through Jupiter dasha, take the role of someone who gives training to new employees of the company. Okay, take the role of a trainer, or a or a guide, or a counselor type position in your team. Okay, like when I was working in one of my companies in corporate world, I used to give training to other people who used to come new into that project. Okay, so if a project has started, some new people are coming into that project, I used to train them. So even there I was sharing my knowledge. Okay, I was working as a teacher. Okay, so even in corporate world, if someone is working, take the role of trainer. Okay, take the role of counselor or a guide. Then the Jupiter or this Pisces ascendant can give you the best of the benefits. If someone can become like guru or teacher by on his own, like he can be sharing his knowledge anyways through his own business, then it is best. Okay. Sun Moon Rahu, here he works in villages to provide water for agriculture, etc. He has learned meditation and healing from me. He does but not regularly. Oshonath Brahma, he practices. My father-in-law expired recently. I am sorry to hear this. That time he was doing Nath Brahma outside ICU, and my son was also doing same here. Miles apart at 4:30 p.m. when his grandpa passes. Okay. So again, yeah, this we can understand, like the look at the symbol of this nakshatra. It is funeral court, and all these activities are happening at the time of death of someone. Okay, so we can relate it with that. Okay, I was waiting for Panchak. Husband has 3 in Uttar Bhadra, and I have Atmakaraka and Revati. My son has ascendant Revati in D9. Yeah, for Panchak nakshatras, from all these like Dhanishta to Revati, there is a concept that like if a death happens in family in Panchak nakshatra, when moon is passing through these nakshatras, suppose moon is passing through Uttar Bhadra today, suppose, and X person has death in his family, it is considered that some sort of rituals need to be done, some sort of pujas need to be done. Otherwise, that person has more deaths in family. I don't really see that more deaths can come up just because someone is not doing puja. So I don't go by that logic. Okay, God cannot be so retributive that okay, you are not worshipping me, then I will kill you. Okay, so it can't be the case. So that is another thing, but yeah, otherwise also, like these nakshatras are more spiritual in nature rather than mystical, rather than materialism. Okay, has two planets, Venus and Sun here, right? So yeah, family members charts are quite matching. Okay, quite matching or quite related with each other. When like my chart may have some similarities with my mother's chart, and may have some similarities with my sister's chart. These type of things can happen. Okay, so if Uttar Bhadra is prominent in your family, it is no coincidence. Everyone in family has planets in Panchak. My son, husband, father-in-law, mother-in-law, sister, father. Right. So you are Uttar Bhadra prominent or Panchak prominent family. Just kidding. Let me know if there is another any other question. Now we will be left with Revati Nakshatra. Revati is final thing. Okay, the soul is moving for next destination. That is Revati. Any further question? I am interested for serving others, but my financial conditions is not well, so that I trying to accumulate money, and that can serve, and then can serve to others. Right. Everyone has their own time period or ways by which they can serve others. So there can never be a straight jacket formula. So you can take your time if you feel like so. Okay. You can take your time, as I said, and as and when you feel comfortable and convenient in moving towards service to other people, then you can take that decision. In-laws are Uttar Bhadra prominent, and Maika is mother's family is Revati prominent. We can say Pisces prominent as a combination. Any further question, sir, madam, anyone? I think we are done. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Uh, Let me know if there is any other question. I will be more than happy to respond. Take care, and all the best for future. Okay, we will see next week with Revati Nakshatra, last Nakshatra. So this series will be over. Okay. Eighth house sitting planets, the Shah start can show dispute with in-laws. Not necessary. It depends on eighth lord position, what planets are in the eighth house, their dignity. Okay, and the transits. Events largely depend upon the dignity of the planet and this dasha and transits. Okay, if dignity is not good, then problems can be there. Okay, take care, enjoy your Sunday. Have a good time.